Hey, good morning, guys. Doing a little coffee with Brent here just before I go into the workday. I just want to point out, just thinking about this. I'm thinking about it because, well, I'll tell you in a second. Um, don't compare what you see on the internet, like somebody's, beautiful, you know this, Instagram, Facebook feed, all that stuff. So much could be going on behind the scenes. Yesterday we joked we were on a Zoom call or Slack call or something. We joked about how sure I'm wearing this coat and this shirt, but I might not be wearing any pants. Now, in fact, I am wearing pants, but I'm not wearing socks. Um, and as my brother-in-law once said, you can take the boy out of Miami, but you can't take the Miami out of the boy. Anyway, what I thought I'd do today is share something with you. Several months ago, I started developing a daily script for myself. I went to what was the name of the conference? It was Dr. Kevin Elko. I appreciate him and the work he does. Champions Game Plan for Greatness. That was it. Great Game Plan for Greatness. Anyway, one of the things he recommended was figure out what script you need to say to yourself every day, because attitude is how you talk to yourself. And I've had a history of talking to myself pretty harshly, kind of perfectionistic, trying to punish myself in order to motivate myself. It hadn't worked, right? So I started developing some different scripts and things I say every day. Some things I say like once a week, and others are just just ideas. Like an idea is, what do I need to do to respect myself? And that's based on the finding that people who are happy are at peace and they respect themselves. And I found that a lot of times I was doing things that compromised myself and to try to fit in or gain favor in a situation at work or something, and I didn't really respect myself. And I found the more that I said what I felt and what I felt was right, no matter what the consequences were afterwards, I respected myself, so I found myself happier. So that's sort of like something I keep in mind. But I'm just gonna share one of the things I've written down that maybe you need to hear today, and that's this: nobody expects me to be perfect or anywhere close to it. All right, let me say that again. Nobody expects me to be perfect or anywhere close to it. I kind of grew up and thinking that I needed to be pretty close to perfect in order to be accepted or worthwhile or whatever. Throw in whatever, adjective you want to put there, positive self-esteem and so forth. And so I felt really stressed when things didn't go perfectly, and I would try to plan for things to go perfectly when they wouldn't always go perfectly, and that would really upset me. And I felt like, boy, if I do this wrong, somebody's not going to like me, or they're going to reject me, or whatever. And you got to be careful when you think things like that, because what happens is that becomes a narrative. And what we're naturally trained to do, our minds work this way. We filter out the things that contradict that narrative. We only accept the things that do. So let me give an example. If um, if it were to happen that someone seemed to reject you or criticize you because you weren't perfect or because you didn't do things exactly right, it really says more about them than it does you. Um, because if you think about it, probably so if you struggle with this perfectionism thing and you needed to hear this, probably if somebody it does something, makes a mistake, you're forgiving. You're like, you understand, yeah, that's cool. This stuff happens. So if somebody doesn't act that way with you, they've got a problem. And so I've really tried to embrace this. And by embracing this idea that, nobody expects me to be perfect or anywhere close to it. I'm sorry. My dog is chasing a lizard or something over in our plants. Hey, Hopper, you better not knock things over. Mommy will be upset. All right, what was I saying? Speaking of not being perfect. Um, I forget what I was saying. Anyway, I think the point was, by learning to live this way and knowing that you're not going to be perfect, me knowing that I'm not going to be perfect, when I make mistakes, it enables me to say, oh, well, Okay, let's move on. What's next? What do I do next? How do I fix this? How do I move on? How do I learn from it? And that's a lot freer way to live life. So I hope you get to live that way. All right? Cheers.